Welcome to our dark journey through history's most ruthless leaders. These figures, driven by ambition, ideology, or sheer thirst for power, cast long shadows across the annals of time. From ancient empires to modern dictatorships, we will journey across continents and through centuries to understand their motivations and methods. Let us now delve into the lives of these ruthless leaders, examining their rise to power, the terror they inflicted, and the enduring legacies they left behind. In the heart of the 20th century, Mao Zedong rose to become the paramount leader of China. The Great Leap Forward, launched in 1958, aimed to rapidly transform China into a socialist society. Millions of peasants were forced into communes, traditional agriculture was abandoned, and backyard furnaces were erected in a misguided attempt to increase steel production. The result was a man-made famine of unprecedented scale. Between 1959 and 1961, an estimated 30 to 45 million people perished from starvation. Mao's reign of terror continued with the Cultural Revolution, a decade of political and social upheaval. Intellectuals, artists, and anyone deemed a threat to Mao's authority were persecuted, imprisoned, or killed. Mao Zedong's rule serves as a stark warning about the seductive allure of ideology and the devastating consequences when ambition trumps human life. Few names in history evoke such immediate revulsion and horror as Adolf Hitler. His ideology, a toxic brew of nationalism, anti-Semitism and racial purity, plunged the world into darkness. Hitler's rise to power in Germany was fueled by economic instability and resentment over the Treaty of Versailles. With chilling efficiency, Hitler's Nazi regime implemented its genocidal agenda. Jews, deemed racially inferior, were stripped of their rights, their businesses and property confiscated. Millions were herded into ghettos and concentration camps destined for extermination. 6 million Jews were systematically murdered in gas chambers, shot by death squads, or worked to death in concentration camps. The legacy of Adolf Hitler is a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred and the urgent need to combat intolerance and discrimination in all its forms. Joseph Stalin, the man of steel, ruled the Soviet Union with an iron fist for over 3 decades. Driven by a desire to transform the Soviet Union into an industrial powerhouse, Stalin implemented his policy of collectivization, forcing millions of peasants onto collective farms. The result was a man-made famine known as the Holodomor, which ravaged Ukraine and other parts of the Soviet Union in the early 1930s. Millions perished from starvation as Stalin's regime confiscated grain and prevented aid from reaching the starving population. During the Great Purge of the 1930s, millions were arrested, tortured, and executed on trumped-up charges of treason, espionage, or sabotage. The Gulag, a vast network of forced labor camps, became synonymous with Stalinist terror. Under Stalin's rule, dissent was ruthlessly suppressed, freedom of speech extinguished, and any hint of opposition met with swift and brutal retribution. Joseph Stalin's legacy is a chilling reminder of the dangers of totalitarianism and the corrosive effects of absolute power. From the steppes of Mongolia emerged a warrior king whose name would forever be etched in history, Genghis Khan. A brilliant military strategist and ruthless conqueror, he forged an empire that stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Born Temujin, Genghis Khan united the disparate Mongol tribes through a combination of diplomacy and military might. His armies, renowned for their horsemanship, archery, and discipline, swept across Asia, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Cities were sacked, populations massacred, and entire civilizations crumbled before the Mongol onslaught. Genghis Khan's conquests, though undeniably brutal, were driven by a pragmatic desire to secure resources and trade routes. The Mongol peace, a period of relative stability and cultural exchange, facilitated trade and interaction between East and West. Genghis Khan's legacy is a complex one, a mixture of brutality and innovation. In the heart of Africa, a different kind of terror unfolded under the rule of King Leopold II of Belgium. Driven by greed and a lust for power, he established a personal colony in the Congo, transforming a land of immense natural wealth into a nightmare of exploitation and brutality. The Congolese people were subjected to forced labor, their lives treated as expendable in the pursuit of rubber, ivory, and other valuable resources. Those who failed to meet their quotas were met with unspeakable cruelty. Hands were chopped off, villages burned, and hostages taken to ensure compliance. Millions died under Leopold's reign of terror, victims of starvation, disease, and outright murder. Public outrage forced him to relinquish control of the Congo in 1908, but the damage had been done. Leopold II of Belgium's legacy is a stark reminder of the dark side of colonialism, a cautionary tale of greed, racism, and the human capacity for cruelty. In the aftermath of the Vietnam War, a new horror unfolded in Southeast Asia. Pol Pot, the leader of the Khmer Rouge, seized control of Cambodia, determined to transform this small nation into an agrarian utopia. Cities were emptied, intellectuals and professionals targeted for elimination, and the entire population forced into labor camps in the countryside. The killing fields of Cambodia became the final resting place for an estimated 1.5 to 2 million people, victims of execution, starvation, disease, and overwork. Pol Pot's regime, driven by paranoia and a fanatical ideology, unleashed a reign of terror that decimated Cambodian society. Children were forced to betray their parents, neighbors turned on neighbors, and the very fabric of human connection was torn apart. The Khmer Rouge's rule of terror finally came to an end in 1979 with the Vietnamese invasion of Cambodia. Pol Pot's legacy is a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked ideology and the fragility of peace. In the aftermath of World War II, as the Korean peninsula was divided, Kim Il-sung rose to power in the north, establishing a totalitarian regime that would endure for decades. His rule, marked by personality cults, economic mismanagement, and brutal repression, left an indelible mark on North Korea. Kim Il-sung, revered as the eternal president, implemented a policy of self-reliance known as Juche, isolating North Korea from the rest of the world. A vast propaganda machine was erected, glorifying Kim and his family as divine leaders. Dissent was ruthlessly suppressed, with political opponents imprisoned in labor camps or executed. Kim Il-sung's economic policies proved disastrous. The forced collectivization of agriculture led to widespread famine, and the country's resources were squandered on military expansion. Kim Il-sung's legacy of isolation and repression continues to cast a long shadow over North Korea. In the annals of Russian history, few figures loom as large and as terrifying as Ivan IV, better known as Ivan the Terrible. Crowned Tsar at the tender age of 3, his reign would be marked by both brilliance and brutality, leaving an indelible mark on the Russian psyche. Ivan's early years were marked by chaos and intrigue as rival factions within the Russian nobility vied for power. Obsessed with consolidating his power and expanding his realm, Ivan unleashed a reign of terror against the boyars, the traditional Russian nobility. His oprichnina, a secret police force loyal only to him, terrorized the populace, confiscating estates, torturing and executing suspected enemies. Ivan's brutality extended beyond the nobility. In 1570, he led a pogrom against the city of Novgorod, suspecting its inhabitants of treason. Thousands were massacred, their homes and businesses looted and burned. Despite his cruelty, Ivan was also a shrewd ruler who oversaw the expansion of the Russian Empire and implemented important legal and administrative reforms. Ivan the Terrible's legacy is a complex one, a mixture of tyranny and achievement. From the depths of Central Asia, a storm of terror erupted upon the Roman world in the 5th century AD. Attila the Hun, a warrior king of unparalleled ferocity, led his nomadic hordes on a rampage of destruction that left cities in ruins and empires trembling. A master of horsemanship and archery, Attila forged a fearsome reputation as the Scourge of God, his very name striking terror into the hearts of his enemies. His armies, a vast horde of mounted warriors, swept across Europe, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Roman legions, once the masters of the Western world, were powerless to stop Attila's advance. Cities like Metz and Trier were sacked and burned, their inhabitants massacred or enslaved. The once mighty Roman Empire, already weakened by internal strife and economic decline, teetered on the brink of collapse. Attila's reign of terror culminated in the Battle of the Catalonian Plains in 451 AD. Though he would threaten Rome again the following year, Attila's empire, built on conquest and terror, would crumble after his death in 453 AD. Attila the Hun's legacy is one of unparalleled brutality and destruction. In the volatile Middle East, Saddam Hussein emerged as a ruthless dictator, ruling Iraq with an iron fist for over 2 decades. His regime, characterized by brutality, paranoia, and a relentless pursuit of power, left a legacy of fear and instability. Hussein, a master of political maneuvering, rose through the ranks of the Ba'ath Party, seizing control of Iraq in 1979. He quickly consolidated his power, eliminating rivals and establishing a cult of personality that permeated every aspect of Iraqi society. Paranoid and ruthless, Hussein maintained his grip on power through fear and intimidation. His security forces, ubiquitous and brutal, silenced any form of dissent. Torture, disappearances, and summary executions became commonplace. Hussein's brutality extended beyond Iraq's borders. In 1980, he launched a devastating war against Iran, a conflict that dragged on for 8 long years and claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. Saddam Hussein's reign of terror finally came to an end in 2003 with the US-led invasion of Iraq. Thank you for joining us on this dark journey through history's most ruthless leaders. We have journeyed across continents and through centuries, examining the lives and legacies of individuals who wielded power with chilling brutality. It is our duty to remember these figures, not to glorify their deeds, but to learn from the past and strive to create a more just and compassionate world. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.